Justin, whose child dressed up as you as for Halloween?
What do you mean?
Like for Halloween, however many days ago that was, like a kid at practice was dressed up as you.
Oh, Trey Pipkins. It was his son.
Okay.
Justin, what did you see from stood out to you from the film from Sunday's series?
That was pretty much how we felt after the game. My same comments. They held up, and I thought we did a good job executing some big plays, and just got to continue to execute in third down in the red zone.
I know you talked about you had to look at some of the sack stuff. Did you see anything differently there when you looked back at it?
Mm-hmm.
And on those sacks, did you get rolled up on your ankle on one of those? It looked like.
I think one of them, but I'm doing fine and made it through.
Do you feel like I know you talked about Quinn all year, and the wide receivers going to have that meeting in Arizona, and since then they've had 2 great games. Do you feel like it's trending in the right direction for that group?
I think they've always been trending in the right direction. I don't think anything meeting like that is out of the ordinary. That's what you do in the NFL. You want to be at your best, and they've certainly done that. And they've done a great job all year, whether it's camp, OTAs, or during the season. They're always doing their best, and they want to put out their best effort. So it's been really good to see from them.
Jim kind of agreed that the Sunday was perhaps your guys' best performance as a team. Did you feel that way offensively?
I would say that we did a lot of good things on Sunday. We're always trying to build from it and get better and watch the film and learn from those things. I'll leave that to him, and that's his call. But there are definitely things that I can clean up. Things that we can clean up as an offense. So I don't think anyone is content with where we're always trying to get better.
In that play at the end of the half, you talked to us a bunch about you made the call on that play at the end of the half to do the pitching, lateral and stuff like that.
No, it's not. I got the Hail Mary call in. They were bringing pressure, so I told Q I was going to throw it to him quickly instead of dropping back and taking a hit. So I threw him the ball, and he went and made a play. So that's how it went down.
He just did that on his own.
I told him that I was going to throw him the ball.
I mean, when you guys are laterally.
I think that's just him making a play, going out there and playing fast.
Justin, do you feel like the team is sort of in rhythm now at this point in the season?
I think we're always trying to get better. That's part of the NFL and part of the game, and there are definitely things that, like I said earlier, that we can clean up and keep getting better at. I think it's always interesting when you're in a new offense. It takes more time to pick up and learn with it. So I think we're doing a good job picking that up.
With the new offense, new receivers, your injuries, is there a point like maybe Denver or that Arizona game where it's like you felt things are finally clicking and this is the potential? We're finally seeing the potential that this offense could be.
Yeah, I think there are bits and pieces of where we're playing pretty good football, and especially good offensive football, and it's just about making sure that we're consistent and doing that all the time, and limiting penalties, and I talk about it all the time of converting on third down and scoring points in the red zone, and if we're able to do that, we've played pretty good football. We just have to be able to do it consistently.
Justin, how does this team compare to your previous Charger teams in terms of the ability to stay resilient, move on to the next play, the next series of downs, the next game?
All I can say is that we're doing our best to be resilient as we can be. I try and stay away from comparisons to previous teams or where we want to be. We're the Chargers, and we're doing everything we can to keep fighting, keep winning every single game, and that's what Coach Harbaugh. It starts at the top with him.
Kind of adding on to that trade deadline yesterday, no move. What did that say from the front office, the confidence that they have in the locker room right now?
Yeah, I think they got a complete faith in us, trust in us, and we got the right guys out there. We got the right pieces, and we certainly feel like we're moving in the right direction. So I think it's a big sign.
Odd question. After week 1, we asked you about your pregame speech. You said that was football Justin. Who is football Justin? What is that a real thing?
No, not really. He's just a competitor, and whenever you go play football, you want to be at your best, and I think that's the goal of every single person in that locker room. So at the end of the day, you just want what's best for this team, and you go out there and motivate however you can.
What's it like watching yourself take big hits when you watch the tape back?
It's part of the game. you sign up for it when you play quarterback. You know that you got to stand in there and you got to deliver for your team. And it's always tough, taking those hits because guys are pretty athletic on that side of the ball. But that's what we got to do a good job in the weight room, in the film room, to limit those. And it's on my end to flip protections, make sure that everyone's dialed in and communicating.
Do you like rewatch it over and over again, or it's sort of just like when you're taking a big hit, when you're watching a tape back, you just sort of breeze through it? Do you wince when you watch it? Like what's...
No, it's it's part of the game. I've taken big hits in high school and college and in the NFL, and you do everything you can to limit those. And I think our offensive line has done such a great job of protecting me and especially working through that. And it's on me to be able to get the ball out quicker, know where my hots are, and understand the pressure and exactly where it's coming from.
Does it hurt less when you know you've completed a task for a big game?
It definitely helps, especially hearing the crowd reaction and knowing that it was worth something, taking a hit like that. So, those guys have done such a great job making plays like that. So, just got to be able to get the ball out there and have them go make a play.
Will you tackle the tackler on the head and say, nice try, or do you ever say anything after you've been hit hard?
No, I just get up and go to the next play.
Jim on Monday was mentioned the officiating and how he thought you should be getting more calls for some of these hits, some of the late hits, body weight hits, those types of things. Do you think about that at all when you're watching the film back? Do you look at, hey, maybe that was a little bit late, or oh, maybe that was body weight, and do you question it all when you don't get calls in those situations?
I think it's more so after the game where you're watching it back and you say, I felt like this one was pretty late, or there are times during a game where you felt like it was late and you say something and they say the next one, and it's out of my control. I think the NFL has done a great job of protecting quarterbacks. I'd love to be able to get more calls. It's a huge advantage to an offense to be able to get 15 yards like that. And as long as I'm being safe out there and being protected, I know coaches fight for me. So to have him in my corner, it means a lot to me.
It's having covered you for a long time, it seems to run counter to your personality to complain or ask the officials for calls. But would you ever, make that a thing for yourself, where you, if in the heat of the moment, you feel like something's late and you feel like you got face mask held or there's body weight hit, that you would say something to the officials, or is that just not who you are?
Yeah, it could be a huge advantage to an offense to be able to get free 15 yards and to be able to continue a drive, especially if it's on third down. There's an aspect of the game where you want to be able to fight for that. You want to lobby for calls like that, and at the same time, though, it's respecting the integrity of the game and making sure that we're playing fair and doing everything like that. But it's definitely a conversation point and something that I can do a better job of during the games, and whether that's talking to the refs before the games or just making sure that we're all on the same page. I think it's definitely something to look at.
To the Arizona game, you said that when Jalen fumbled, like you were going to go back to him. You go back to him that game. You go back to him in weeks after. What have you seen from him just in the last few weeks?
Yeah, just a steady guy. He goes out there and makes plays, and I don't think I got him the ball too much this past game, but I know he's there, and when the opportunity arises, I know he's going to make the most of it. He's done a great job picking up the offense, learning it, and especially growing into that receiver room. Those guys respect him, and they see the ball player he is. So he's done a good job fitting in so far.
How hard is it to stay level-headed, or maybe at halftime going into a locker room when you get sacked 6 times? Is it like, guys, come on, help me out here, or just not losing your patience?
I think it's always the mindset of moving on to the next play and understanding that anything that does happen is partly it is my responsibility. I can do a better job of getting the ball out quicker. I can flip protections, I can change plays, I can do everything to fix the play. So any of those sacks, it's a reflection of my play as a quarterback. We can always be better as an offense. There are things that that you watch the film and you look back and say, I wish we would have done this, or I wish we would have done that, but we did our best. And so that's where you got to learn from it and continue to move on. And you can't let one sack affect your next one. And if you're worried about the pass rush, you're worried about the wrong thing, because those guys are flying around on defense, and you got to be able to make sure that you push the ball downfield.
There's a lot of talk in the offseason. We talked about OTAs and minicamp about how there was an intention from the staff to be able to run the ball. Greg told us, like, pairing you with a great running game. at this point, your most productive, spurts offensively have been when you're really pushing the ball downfield, when you're throwing it. Has that been a morph for the offensive identity from what maybe you guys thought you were going to be in the offseason to what you actually are now, or is it more of you just getting healthy and being able to be, a thrower in a way maybe you weren't when you had the ankle sprain?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that, Coach Roman would probably be able to give you a better answer on that. I think that, he's doing everything he can to win the game the way we need to, and if it's by throwing the ball a bunch, especially this past week, we thought we were going to have some opportunities on third down, some big chunk plays, and that's kind of how it went down. We knew their front seven was really good, and we'd have a tough time. It was going to be a physical fight up front. And so I think it just kind of goes the way the game goes, and he's done such a great job of adapting and saying, hey, we need to run the ball or we need to pass the ball. And, I think the past couple of weeks it's been passing the ball. So I know that we're able to run the ball. It's just kind of about finding that, that philosophical talk that we had last week about whether we're able to run the ball, pass the ball, or do both.
How much does it help up in that downfield passing game, though, when you've got a running back like JK who can break those 10 to 12, 15-yard gains, even though there's been a lot of times he's been bottled up, but he has been able to get the big runs like the 2 touchdowns and 85 yards on Sunday, that threat is still there.
Yeah, I think it's important because, the more we pass the ball, the more cover 2, the more shell we're going to get, 2 safety high. And that helps our run game. And so being able to run the ball when we're passing the ball, it holds defenses accountable. And so as long as we're able to do both of those, that's when we're playing our best football. And so it's always a goal of ours to be able to run the ball and throw the ball at the same time and marry the two between because, like you said, JK is a special back. And whenever you get him the ball, especially in those 2 high looks, he's going to do something with the ball.
Do you have any bragging rights over your head coach after what happened last Saturday?
No, I got a lot of respect for that team, and he's with us now, and so we're moving on. And I'm happy for the Ducks. They've been playing really good football. I've been watching them and rooting for them. It's just been really good to see them, take on all the opponents they have and the success that they've had so far.